Well,
You were live, by the way.
hi. Okay, thank you. I have not got the update, but that's okay. Whatever. It'll come up in a minute, maybe. All right. Oh, it's so good to be back. Not to be cramped up and in the dining room with not the right kind of lighting. So here we are. Let's go ahead and take a minute and share with everybody. Matt, if you'll put it on the church thread to let our people who aren't here know that we are back. And James in the RIV. It's really good. This is a thought for thought interpretation by Rick Renner. We don't own the rights, but I highly recommend you get it on Amazon. We are starting on page 205. We're going to start with verse 11 in chapter 4. So we're going to just get on in there. God's prohibition against derogatory speech and is called to refrain from being judgmental. Well, this is good. No, subtitles are on. We're going to be sitting here like this today probably, but that's okay. He loves us. The Bible says that the one he corrects, he loves. So I'm pretty sure he loves me most of all. So I'm just going to put that out there. Verse 11, dear brothers, and that goes for sisters too, I forbid you to engage in speaking to each other in a belittling, depreciating, derogatory, disparaging, insulting, or offensive manner. People of covenant. See, we're supposed to be known by our love for one another, not our abuse of one another. Even if someone speaks this way to you, do not reciprocate by speaking the same way in response. You see, the one who speaks in a belittling, depreciating, derogatory, disparaging, insulting, or offensive manner against a brother, or who engages in finding fault as if he were judge and jury of a brother, is actually verbally assaulting and taking on the role of judge and jury in regard to the law. But if, as it seems to be the case among you, you choose to take on the role of judge and jury in regard to what is right and wrong in connection with the law, you are not actually seeking a way to justly carry out the commandments of the law. Instead, you've overstepped your bounds in your role as judge and simply become a critic of others. It is so important that we learn the right way of judging. We're not the sentencing committee. That is not us. We don't do that. And we have a different system that we judge by. We should judge fruit. We should inspect fruit. We should never condemn. We should never, I guess what I'm saying is we need to really think hard before we jump in on things. And is this something that's within the realm of fruit that needs to be addressed, that I might need to talk to this person about? Or is this a me problem and it's just going against my preferences, wishes, or desires? You know, because a lot of times I think that's where we step into the critiquing and the belittling because it's not the way I think it should be, or you didn't do that to my approval, therefore. But if it's not a fruit issue, then what right do I really have to overstep into that? That's my takeaway at the moment. There is one lawgiver who laid down the law for everyone, and he is the ultimate judge, jury, and critic, who alone has the right to issue a verdict of how people are fulfilling his law. That's right. He is fully able, always capable, and ever possesses nonstop power to completely deliver and entirely liberate, heal, and save. And he also has the power to completely obliterate, since he is the only one with the right to be a judge of these matters. Who do you think you are to take on the role of judge and jury about the performance of those who are nearby you? There's so many things that heart condition, it's not to help, it's just to make ourselves feel better about ourselves by putting someone else down, or usually the root of it is not good and pure when we get into the nasty attitude. The James is talking about here. And when we read things like our, about the laws of proper speech, things like that just make me question so much more the motive, and can people see the love of God in my life? All the things that I have made into things, were they ever really worth the energy that you spend fighting and grabbing and whatever, because this principle, this thing has got to be right because I want it this way. Is this a fruit issue? Is this something that's just going to cause discord? Is this something that is a breaking fellowship issue? Because if it's something that's a breaking fellowship issue, then we do need to address it. It has to be talked about, because there's guidelines for that. Or is this just something that I have a prejudice against? And we see that through Scripture, because they had the ones that, we had the haves and the have-nots in the body, and there was prejudice against them. We had the Jews and the Gentiles in the body, and there was prejudice against. So we see this time and time and time and time again. It's not a new concept. But we have to be different. Everybody being quiet. That's no fun. Just so y'all know.
Sorry.
Y'all all just sitting there being quiet. Like y'all had a vacation. Okay, 13. Let me provide some guidance to you all, to you who are all the time saying, today, that is this very day, right now, or perhaps tomorrow, or in the near future, we intend to travel to a particular city and stay there about a year to do a lot of buying, selling, and business, and our intention is to play the business game so well that we hit the jackpot and score a big financial profit. Making them big plans. Let's face it, the fact that you don't know with certainty exactly what is going to happen tomorrow, we, Lord willing, and the creek don't rise, we'll do this. We can make a plan, but we need to understand that none of us know what tomorrow is going to bring. I mean,
I was going to be in Mississippi last week.
Yeah. Nope. No one anticipated a fire to come through our county.
No.
Hello.
I mean, and it's so funny because even with that, it was like I felt like God was preparing me.
Yeah.
Like, I knew something was going to come up. I didn't know what it was, but it was just like, I didn't understand at that time. I didn't put any voice to it necessarily. I just had this, first off, I had like two, I was listening to two different teachings one day, and it was like both of them were talking about not being so stuck on our plans that we miss out on what God is, leading us to do, and things like that. And it was interesting to me that I felt like God had prepared me to, like, this was not going to go through, But yeah, we don't ever say, like, I'm going to go do this tomorrow, I'm going to go do that. Lord willing. Lord willing.
Yeah, Lord willing.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, this life of yours, what is it really? Isn't it really a mere breath, mist, or passing vapor that becomes visible only for a relatively brief time? And then, poof, it evaporates, passes from the scene, and is gone. What are we doing with the time? Because there ain't much of it.
Yep. Well, we put so much weight on, what's the average lifespan right now? For people?
75 years.
75 years? 75 years we put so much of a monopoly on. And I'm not saying that plans shouldn't be made or that, goals and dreams and visions shouldn't be had. I'm saying that, where's our focus in that? Because clearly in Scripture, Jesus is telling us, like, look, don't lay up treasures here on earth.
Yeah.
Am I telling you not to have a savings account?
No.
No. No, that's
Well, we put so much emphasis, like you said, on okay, well, let's pursue the career path, and we start it when our kids are little. How? Oh, we're gonna pursue the academics with a gusto, and you better not make below a this grade or what. Am I against doing that? No, I'm not. I think you should strive for excellence. I am all for that. But do you have that same kind of gusto in your child pursuing eternal matters? Because if you don't, there's a problem.
yeah.
If you're willing to travel all over the state for Little League,
Yeah.
but you can't make it to a revival that's, 20 minutes from the house, you might be sending the wrong message, because the odds of your child having an athletic career are next to none.
But every one of us one day are going to stand before the
God.
Lord.
Exactly.
Well, here's the thing. They'll take they can't go to revival
No.
because their kids has to get up and go to school the next morning, but they can play ball
Mm-hmm.
on the All-Stars and
Yeah.
all of that,
Oh, yeah.
and miss church Sunday,
Exactly.
because that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
And it's not, look,
Secular
and I'm not saying there's
rules
anything.
over
Yeah.
the spiritual.
Exactly.
it's what are we investing in? That's the thing.
Exactly.
And what Jesus' words were is, you need to lay up for yourself treasure in heaven.
Yeah.
Because what is laid up down here, moth and rust destroy.
Yeah.
He puts it
Exactly.
that way. I'll put it to you like this. We've all had retirement accounts, or some of us older people have had retirement accounts, or have retirement accounts.
Yeah.
Now you may right now have a certain amount of money in that retirement account, but if the stock market crashes tomorrow, you will have that much less in there. Because it goes up and down. I may have, thousands and thousands of dollars saved up, but tomorrow it could be dropped. I could lose $10,000-$15,000 overnight because the moth and rust destroy that. That's not where my assurance
No.
is.
No.
That's not where my life is. My assurance is in the Lord, that regardless of whatever preparations I've made for my life or for my family, that the Lord is what will carry us through. So that's why my faith is not in that.
Yeah.
My faith is in God.
Exactly.
Um,
And we're a different kind of church, because we will get into discipleship, and discipleship is not a class on Tuesday night. Discipleship is when you do life together. What did the disciples do? They lived with Jesus for 3.5 years, pretty much on the road, constantly doing things. They experienced life together, so the everyday was spiritual and the spiritual was everyday.
right.
If that's making sense. So that's kind of what we do. We have a church thread. If you're in here long enough, people's going to start pouring into you, and the everyday becomes spiritual, and the spiritual becomes everyday. And this is growing and becoming a mature Christian. This is giving you meat, because the meat is the doing of the word, not just the hearing of the word. That's the milk. But most people within a church sphere are bottle babies. They have no desire to get out and do something on their own. I mean, they might do it to the extent of eating a Cheerio like a toddler. But getting into something that has to be, some meat,
Yeah.
no. Most don't take that initiative without others kind of coming around them and being like, come on, you can do it. That positive peer pressure, if you will.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's so important to get in the body where you belong, to get into a body that's going to hold that kind of accountability, to make those connections with brothers and sisters that are going to encourage you to keep growing and keep going.
everybody say hey to Zachariah. He's watching this.
Zachariah. That's great. Let's see. Okay, we're on 15 now.
15.
Mhm.
Instead of so brashly stating what you're going to do, it is better to say, if the Lord should desire, plan, and will it, as in all likelihood is the case, we will plan to live robustly, and we'll give our best effort to be productive and to do this or that, here, there, or in some other place.
That's right.
There's again, I think we need to make plans.
Mm-hmm.
We need to have vision. We need to have goals in life. But every one of those things that we desire, that we have, we need to give them to the Lord. Okay, God, this is what I'm planning on. Because otherwise, there was a phrase on the Wednesday prayer calls is get off your rapture rug.
Yeah.
Where a lot of Christians just sit there and they go, okay, I'm ready for God to rapture me up.
Sitting here waiting, beam me up.
Beam me up, Scotty. I'm ready to go.
No.
And that's not
We're
how we're
supposed to be
called to
occupied.
live. Our young people in here, listen, go be a restaurant owner. Go pursue whatever career that you want to do, whether it's in the military, whatever it is. But let God, guide you, direct you in the way you should go. In that path. Because listen, there's no telling what God can use you for.
Well, also in all this, what James is saying, when you make those plans, I'm planning to go here on such and such a day.
Mhm.
Well, that plan affects whoever that's over here on such and such a day, and they have to plan accordingly a lot of times, whether that's work, whether that's business, whatever that may be. And so what James is telling them is you put that degree of consideration in there because you're saying, look, the Lord willing, this is the plan. Mm-hmm. But that also leaves it where, if the Lord has a different plan, we're going to go that route. And I'm not kind of leaving you in the lurch when you say, well, you said you was going to be here on Tuesday. Well, okay.
Yeah, that's right, man.
Because, again, there goes that consideration for other people.
Yeah. I know me and your daddy had many days where we set out to go work, and we'd have a day full of work to do, and Brother Larry would call, or, we'd have ministry to do. And those plans got put on, we'd call our customers, hey, I'm sorry, we cannot make it today. We will be there tomorrow, Lord willing, or wherever we can.
Exactly.
Whatever we can do, we'll get there, but today we have this to do.
Here we go.
Where are we at?
16.
16. However, right now, you are arrogantly carrying on, boasting and making baseless claims about what you are planning to do. Your talk reminds me of well-known roaming shysters who purport to know everything but can't deliver on the empty promises they make. Absolutely all haughty boasting of this sort is destructive, dangerous, and harmful.
There you go.
It's not only harmful to you, but remember, if you make a bunch of claims you can't deliver on, it will ruin your testimony and reputation
That's right.
with those who heard all your boastings and braggings.
There you go.
Snake oil salesman.
Yeah.
Snake oil salesman.
Snake
That's
oil
right.
salesman. That's right. Don't be so quick to obligate yourself on things that you don't know if you can hold up.
And people get a reputation of being, you can't count on that person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Don't even bother, and there's proverbs for that.
Yeah.
It
Broken
says
tooth
that,
or a foot out of
yeah,
joint.
it's like a broken tooth or a foot out of joint.
It's painful.
It's painful trying to
Deal with unreliable
and I'm
people.
gonna tell you something.
Yep. Yes, it is. It's painful.
Yeah.
We've learned.
Me and Jimmy had a lot of those people that we knew we couldn't count on them.
That's right.
And
They'll promise 4 people that they're gonna come help, and
well,
then
Which
well,
one's
they'll
gonna
tell
get
the
you,
help?
and you ask somebody to do something, and you're counting on them to do it, and then you find out they didn't do it.
yeah, They went fishing, they went
They
somewhere
didn't,
else.
or
did
they just,
something else.
or you just ask them to please do this, and they just did not do it, time and time again.
Yeah.
And Jimmy was the type,
Yeah,
I'll just do it myself.
Yeah.
You know, and
That's
that's a
it.
bad way to get to,
yeah, it is,
but, you know,
exactly. So don't be that person. 17. Therefore, for the one who really gets what I'm saying, and I'm talking about the one who gets it so well that he knows the right thing to do, that's a profound statement. You know, when you're trying to minister to someone, especially ones that have any history in any type of church setting, you'll get the I know. No, you don't. You're really not understanding it because you're obviously not doing the right thing. Either that or you are just a special kind of wicked to know. The Bible says to him that knows to do good and does it not, to him it is sin. Now, we can get into the quibble of how many sins is it going to take to separate you from God. Personally, I don't want to test that. I don't want to know. I know it took one for Adam to get kicked out of the garden. I know the Bible says that sin ain't going to be in heaven. So, I'll let you do your own math on that one. But we can't be okay, I think is the main thing. Our hearts can't be okay. And if our hearts ain't okay with it, then we won't be comfortable continuing and doing it. You know what I mean? Like, it will be, it'll be moving away.
There should be a change.
Yeah. Faith produces change.
Faith produces change. There should, if this is something where we've been caught up in, there should be movement in the right direction on this.
That's right.
People should go, wow, they actually, they actually followed through this time. That is great,
Yeah. And here we go. This is the scripture in the RIV that I was just saying. Therefore, for the one who really gets what I'm saying, and I'm talking about the one who gets it so well that he knows the right thing to do, but he nevertheless fails to do it, especially for this person, such a failure is a sin.
in my study Bible, it says sin is not only actively committing evil deeds,
That's right.
it is also passively failing
To do good.
to do what you know God wants
Passively
you to do.
failing to do good.
Just
That's it.
lazy.
Just,
You
not
just-
being engaged.
You know
You know
you
what
need to do this,
But
you are
just-
so not engaged
but you're
in
not
doing
gonna do it.
Now,
that it just doesn't happen.
And I believe that stems from rebellion.
yeah.
I
Rebellion.
believe
Pride.
rebellion is ugly.
Yes, it is.
I believe it's right there with pride.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Ooh.
Because Satan rebelled
Yes.
against God.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then led a third of the angels to rebel with
That's it.
him.
Yeah.
So he was a smooth talker. He was charismatic to get a third of the angels to leave heaven to follow him. You know? Smooth talker, but that rebellion and that pride.
There you go. Understand that there is no more mistake, because that person clearly knows what is right, yet has failed to do it, and has therefore totally missed the mark and fallen short of God's expectation. That's heavy hitting. It's not a mistake. There's no oopsie, I didn't, no, you knew,
And you didn't
and
do
you
it.
didn't do it.
And it's that choice.
It's that choice.
And look here, you're choosing rebellion.
Exactly.
You're choosing. And in my study Bible, listen to this. Renounce rebellion.
Yes.
Submit yourself to God. Renounce the devil. And reject all his suggestions.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
James tells us how to live as the church so well.
Amen.
Verse 1.
Then that's the thing to remember. This is He's not talking to people that are not Christians. He's talking to
To the
believers.
church,
He's
yeah.
talking to us. You know, this is how we should operate.
Exactly. And here we go again, relating to each other within the body, 5 and 1.
Okay.
Go ahead.
For a moment, let me guide those who are financially well off, but are inflated with pride because of your financial means.
Oh goodness.
You need to shed tears to the point of sobbing, lamenting and wailing for your insensitivity to the needs of those who have less than you, and for the miseries that are going to come on you with devastating impact. Your wealth has become corrupted, infected, and toxic, and your collections of expensive, status-affirming clothes have become moth-eaten.
Ooh.
Your gold and silver that you trust in are corroded, rusted, and they are as poisonous as deadly venom, and their corrosion, rust, and poison are entered as first-hand evidence to testify against you. It will devour your flesh like a consuming, engulfing fire. You've been stockpiling your wealth and putting it away to be used in the later years of your life and in the last days.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Listen to this.
My goodness.
Listen to this. The rich oppressors are like fattened, pampered animals that are unaware of their approaching day of slaughter.
Yeah.
They've let their greed and and self-deception
Yeah.
thinking
No compassion.
thinking that they can just kick back with
Insensitive.
with their wealth that
Insensitive to those around them. Those within
Arrogant.
the body that have needs.
Yeah.
But I'm
Yeah.
too busy with my own. I've got it, but I'm not gonna pay attention.
they're
Jeez.
you know, your daddy always said, Minnie, that the key to success in life was this.
Yep.
Was, you know, it comes into the hand and it goes out of the hand.
Mm-hmm.
And he would say, I'm just a water pipe. And, you know, that was with
When
the,
you do
with-
this,
when
it
you,
stops
when you
the
do
flow.
this,
It
it stops
stops.
the flow.
And the
Stops
water
the
gets
flow.
stagnant.
But when we open up and we, you know, look here, money takes wings, it flies away. We're not called to, you know, look at money as the goal, as
No.
the provision.
It's the tool.
It is strictly the tool.
That's it.
I'm not telling people to be foolish with how their finances or how they do life.
No.
You know, because I think we do need to be wise in how we handle what we've been entrusted with, but recognize that it's not yours.
That's right.
Jesus told us
It's
to
not.
give unto Caesar what is Caesar and give unto God what is God. And
That's
when
it.
we think about what is God's,
everything.
That's
you
it.
know, what are we gonna hold back? If he says to give unto God what is God's, what are we gonna hold back to? You know,
That's right. Absolutely.
I know this is an area in your dad's life, or in my life, excuse me, where your dad really ministered to me on, you know, was to stop that.
Yeah.
Stop trying to hold on to it. And the more you get, you know, it's.
But you know, isn't that the source of all of our problems? We're trying to hold on to
Hold on
something
to
that God's telling us to let go
Yeah. Yeah,
in so many levels and capacities.
yeah. That is a source of problem.
In a lot of regards.
But if we just do this, and just, you know, whatever that is, let it go.
You know, you have to have, I think about the prayer call last week where he said, have an honest conversation
Yeah,
Oh,
with,
yeah.
with me. Yeah.
with me.
Yeah.
And you know, you've got to come clean with the Lord because, and I think a lot of people, especially young Christians, you know, they think, I can't afford to pay tithes. I have to pay bills.
Yeah.
And then see, if you're honest with the Lord, what you're really telling him is, I'm not there trusting you
To
to
me.
meet my needs.
Mhm.
And what's going on is they're blinded.
Yeah.
Because what they have is
Yeah.
what God has given
Exactly.
them anyway.
You know, I was on Brother Bruce's prayer call a while back, and he was giving a testimony about how God had protected him and his wife, and they had bought this house, beautiful home, and they had I think they had made a commitment to pay so much in tithes. And as they committed this money to the Lord and were paying the tithes, they did not have the money to pay to meet their bills. And he said he prayed about it, and he said the Lord told him to pay his bills first and let his mortgage go to the side, I guess, so let it hang, and he did. My understanding of what he said. Now he obviously knows the story better than me, but he went through this whole process, and now that goes against what everybody will tell you. They tell you to pay your mortgage first and pay your bills next, you pay your light bill and all that.
You gotta have a place to
You gotta
live.
have a place to
That's
live.
worldly.
That's what the world says.
Yeah.
But the Lord told him what to do, and he did it. And at the time, now it's changed since then, but at the time, in Canada, your mortgage did not affect your credit rating. So all that time, him paying his bills, he was keeping his credit score up. And when it came down to it at the end, he was able to bring the other around.
God brought it
And
around.
God brought it around, but he had to stay faithful
With what
To
God-
what
to
God
what
said.
God had said. Let me tell you something. It doesn't mean that it's always comfortable,
No.
because I know, and he testified there were times where they were going, him and his wife were looking at each other.
Yeah.
What do we do? What do we do? Because now you're talking about, this is where the meat is hitting
This
the
is-
metal.
This
I mean,
is affecting
this is gonna, they
The
could
way
lose
out.
their house. We could lose our place to stay. And we talk about trusting God.
Yeah.
We talk about trusting God, but man, would you trust God if He told you to do something and it come down to it, and you lost your house? Would you trust God? We just had these fires,
Yeah.
and I know, man, so many people lost their home, and it's sad. And it's heartbreaking, and it's hard. But would we, and thank God, nobody in our church lost their house.
Yes.
But would you trust God if you had?
And you really have to, like I said, he's telling us, he is trying to get us, because y'all, I can't tell you that he's coming next Tuesday at 4 p.m.
No,
to rapture us.
but he's coming.
But it says that we'll know the season that we're in.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's a year from now, whether it's next week, whether it's 10 years.
We know what season we live in.
We know the season that we're in,
That's right.
and the bride should be preparing herself.
Yes, absolutely.
And we just sang that song, trusting
Yeah,
when we cannot see.
yeah.
That's it.
But are we trusting,
Or are we trying to make it happen?
or are we trying to get him to bless what we want,
Yeah,
our desires,
Yeah.
our plans.
instead of seeking,
His.
what is
Plans,
your
his
will,
desires.
Father, for me? Jimmy, oh my goodness, Jimmy
He had plans.
loved trapping.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Look here,
that was.
Live.
but when the Lord went to dealing with him, and he surrendered, trapping didn't, You know, look here, he could have put it down and not taken it back up.
Yeah.
He said, all I want to do is preach the gospel. And, I mean, that's where his heart was. But he had to surrender.
Yeah.
You know, he had to give God the trapping, because the Lord did take it away from him for a while. And it wasn't like for,
It was several years.
it was several years. And then told him,
Yeah.
you can go back to it. And he said, I don't know if I want to. And the Lord said, it's okay, go back to it.
Yeah.
You know,
But it's
when you're hard-headed,
It
look here,
hurts.
when you're hard-headed, it takes stronger correction.
Yeah, it does.
And that's the goodness.
Of God, that's the mercy.
Yep.
Severe mercy is what he said this
Yep,
last.
severe
this last
mercy.
Severe
But
mercy.
you know, I dare say, Jimmy's life prepared him
yes.
for his calling.
Exactly.
You know, Haiti ain't a picnic.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Overseas, it's not a picnic.
Yeah.
You
Well-
don't go there to vacation.
Well,
and
you
just
know,
be like that.
I heard a thing, a little sermon by, or a snippet of a sermon, and it made me think of what you're saying. He talked about Moses, and the name Moses means drawn out the water. You know, Pharaoh's daughter was real creative. Oh, I drew you out the water, so I'm gonna call you drawn out the water. Yeah. Anyway, but his point, the point he was making is the thing that you are pulled out of many times is the thing that God is preparing you to pull others out of.
Mm.
You know, because
Wow.
what did Moses end up doing? He ended up parting the sea and delivering his people
Yeah.
From
You
the
know,
water.
from the water. You know, is there times and seasons and preparation? Yes, he was not immediately ready to run back into that. It took many, many, many years for him to be ready to do what.
And you know, you got to, you know, it's talking about,
Excuse me.
you've got to go by what God says and not man, because look here, when he was called into deliverance.
Yeah.
Look here.
But
We
nobody,
had been in a mainline denomination for
we didn't know anybody talking about that stuff.
almost 20 years, 18 years
Yeah.
when we left it.
Yeah.
When God called us out of it.
Right.
But a lot, he went, y'all, because he was struggling with it. He knew what the Lord was telling him.
Yeah.
But then when he went to his mentors, you can't do that. That's what they were telling him. You can't do that. They'll think you're crazy.
Okay.
And then bless the Lord if the Lord didn't start just letting
Letting them show up
the devils manifest
right in the church.
in the church. Then what you gonna do?
Well, a lot of people tucked tail and ran.
Well, yeah, there was like
There was a mass
there
exodus
was like
from the
7
building.
people left in the church that night.
Yep.
And I mean, they flew out the door.
It's like, okay.
This is in y'all's main line.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean, at that time there wasn't a lot of people talking about it, and even now, when you run into people that admit it, it's almost like there's a disconnect in a lot of regards because
It's like taboo still.
it's still
And
taboo. Like
crazy.
we can talk about some things, but we can't go full blurry creature podcast. We can't go full ODX. We're gonna go full ODX over here. Why?
Never
Because
go
it is
full ODX.
it is what it is, and it's
sad.
sad.
Because listen to me, what did the Lord go around doing?
Yeah,
Delivering
Delivering
people.
people.
exactly. Satan's agents aren't ignorant. I mean, let's be
Oh,
real.
no.
They're not ignorant. They understand it.
Well,
But God's people, it's time to shut the ignorance.
That's where
anyway.
you've got to have those honest conversations with him. Lord, I'm too embarrassed. I don't want to be talked about. I don't want to be looked at that way.
Yeah.
For the Lord took our shame.
Yes, it did.
Well, you need to have those conversations with the Lord, because the Lord, you and the Lord need to be open with each other first.
A city
God's
on-
always open with us.
A city on a hill is supposed to draw attention.
Yeah. You know, first off, there's going to be things that you're dealing with in your personal life, and God is dealing with you on. And if you don't sit there and
Be honest.
be honest with God, you know, first off, it's gonna blow up eventually. And are you gonna stop with the Lord?
And you know, I love that scripture where he tells us, you know, he knows our frailty.
Yeah,
He knows that we're
He knows.
He knows.
He knows the weakness. He knows every bit of it.
yes.
And I mean, as far as things go in ministry, you know, let's look at Elijah. He slaughtered 300 prophets. Was it 300 prophets of Baal?
400.
400
Well,
prophets of Baal. I mean, up on a mountaintop.
And that's not even the beginning of that story.
I mean,
Just saying.
after calling fire down from heaven.
Well, I mean, you can go back 3.5 years when he said it ain't gonna rain no more, boo-boo.
And
And it didn't.
This
And then
guy-
he just off the face. Nobody could find him. So he was Israel's most wanted for 3.5 years because we need rain.
This guy was, you know, hey, he heard from the Lord. They knew he heard from the Lord. And let me tell you something. God did things around him. And he got
Called
up there.
down fire,
Called
killed the priest,
And one woman
outran a chariot, and
One
called the
said-
rain back.
One woman said, "Hey, I'm gonna kill you,"
Ha!
and he ran. After doing all that.
Come on.
Now, if Elijah, who, you know, in the Bible tells us in the New Testament that he was a man just like we are,
Yeah.
or a person just like we are, and God still used him. You know, why can't we go to God and be, okay, God, this is where I'm at?
He knows it anyway.
You know,
Yeah, he
why,
does.
why can't we go to
We,
God and
we
say,
got
God,
to
I'm-"
own up to it.
you
We
know.
got to face reality.
and I think that
and
that
admit it.
I think that's the thing, is going to God with it, and
Yeah.
and not just going to God with it and going, okay, this is where I'm at and this is where I'm going to stay.
Yeah.
Okay, God, this is where I'm at. What how can I work
Help.
with you on
Get me
this?
out of here again.
What can I do? What I know what you know you can do anything, God. But how can I work with you and you know to
Yeah.
better this, to do this, or you know, God, I just can't.
And you know,
He made. I remember being.
are we gonna, when he tells us though, you know, I think that there's things in our life, every one of us, that we know we got to have God to help us with it. But are we really willing to do our part? And we've got to be honest in that aspect. I know that, like Sister Billy says,
Yeah.
that her husband, look here, God told him there was 3 things he had to do.
And he did
And he
too.
said, I'll do 2, but I ain't doing the 3rd one. And he left early.
Yeah.
He did.
See, it cost him something, but I mean,
Jack Coe,
Yeah.
same thing.
well, I mean, Elijah running. You know, a lot of people like the Facebook theology. Well, you know, sometimes God just gives you food and a nap. Well, yeah, but he also lost his ministry and had to exit this world. There was probably a lot more work for him to do. How did that affect Elisha? How did that affect everybody that loved Elijah?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's really cool. We went up in a flaming chariot, but that decision to run from Jezebel determined how far God could use
And
it.
it has consequences. Our decisions do have consequences.
Exactly.
And we need to understand that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
again,
God is rich in mercy. We're not saying he's not.
Our relationship with the Lord is vital, and if it's not built on honesty with Him, you know,
That's it.
then what are we doing?
That's it.
You know, I remember your daddy talking about having to give a testimony one time about something that was very personal, and he just felt like he couldn't do it. And he had to, he had to tell people, I can't do this. And he had to tell the Lord, I can't do it. And I believe the Lord,
And the Lord met him where he
Met him
was
where
and
he was
strengthened
in
him
that.
to do it.
Yeah, and he was able to do it.
and then he was able to do it. And that's the thing I'm getting at is that, look, you know, if we don't go before God in honesty
That's it.
about where we're at with stuff,
Yep.
you know, I know this is what you're asking of me, God, and this is where I'm struggling with this at. And then not just staying there, but saying, okay, God, you know, listening to what the Lord has to say,
Yeah.
you know, because God's going to guide you, and He's going to direct you, you know, and just going, you know, sometimes I understand, sometimes I don't, but you know what, God, I trust you in this situation.
And you know, the thing that, I believe if we could keep this in our hearts, that anytime you feel like, I just don't think I can do this, and look here, don't think that he don't know that struggle, because in the garden, he pleaded with the Father, if there's any other way, could you take this cup?
Yeah.
I mean,
He was honest.
he was so stressed
Yeah.
that his sweat,
Became blood.
literally, he was bleeding. He was bleeding out his pores.
It's getting real.
So he knows when we struggle, when whatever that thing is that we're not wanting to do. But see, he showed us, he in the flesh surrendered and went to the cross. If he can do that, what is it that we're thinking we can't do?
Exactly.
Exactly.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Is it even comparable
Probably not.
to what he did? Because he didn't go as God to the cross.
Right.
He went fully as man.
Yeah.
That's
But
right.
even in that, remember what he did right there at the garden. Lord, if this, God, if
Yeah, that's
this,
what
if
she was
the- yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
yeah,
So what I'm saying is, it's not that he don't know that we're fighting the flesh, that we're struggling with it.
Yeah.
It's not that he can't
He has-
identify with
He has
that.
first-hand experience.
Yes,
Firsthand. And his issue was a lot bigger than any of ours.
yeah,
But
that's what
anyway.
I'm saying.
That's exactly.
You know, but the key is that total surrender, like he had to do to the Father. He had to surrender his will
Yeah.
to the Father's. And I think a lot of times we might surrender up to 90%,
We have
but
a
we do not
percentage.
want to go that 100%.
We have a
Yeah.
percentage that we'll do. Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
and it's got to be 100%.
That's
Gotta be
right.
100.
Verse 4. Wow. That's always good when you're going to start with a wow.
Wow.
You need to really pay attention and listen carefully. The compensation, salary, and wages of the hardworking employees and laborers who have been cutting, gathering, and reaping in your fields. I'm talking about the hard-earned pay that rightfully belongs to those who have been working for you, but you have defrauded and deprived them from receiving it. You need to know something about that wrongly retained money. It is crying out for justice and pleading for help. Think about that. And the cries coming from those who have been working in the fields for you in the hottest and most scorching seasons of the year have made their way directly into both wide open ears of the Lord, Sabaoth, the one who is ready to summon his troops to battle on their behalf. Oh boy. You've lived a luxuriant and soft life here up upon the earth, In fact, you've lived self-indulgently to the point that you've not restrained yourselves from anything you wanted. The fact is that you have been self-focused on fattening your hearts in continuous feasting. Selfish. Selfish. Don't care about anybody else.
Wants to sit back
Yeah.
and,
Now this is in the church.
and look here.
This is in the
Sit
church.
back, kick back, eat, sleep, and be merry.
Yeah. You've condemned, judged, and practically slaughtered the righteous. Yeah, that's the response right there. I'm talking about people who are doing their best to do what is right in God's sight. Yet, in spite of your wrong attitudes and behavior, God in His goodness has not positioned Himself against you or pursued a plan to crushingly bring you to your knees for your wrong attitudes and behaviors. We need to be very careful in our dealings with God's children.
That's right.
We need to understand that we're all God's children here in covenant and act appropriately. Precious brothers, those I cherish and so profoundly love. Now, James just gave some hard blows there, but he's letting them know he loves them. He wouldn't say it if he didn't love them. It is essential that you be patient. Oh, we got to bring up patience, James. All the way to the coming of the Lord. It is amazing that the tiller of the earth is expectant for the cherished, precious, prized, treasured, luscious fruit of the earth. And
The souls.
Yeah.
The souls.
And He continues to patiently wait for it until at long last He will have received both the early and latter rains.
You know, thank God that He's not an impatient
Yeah.
God.
That's right.
Thank God.
And in the very same way, God patiently waits for His long-anticipated harvest. You also need to patiently wait and be firmly established in the deepest parts of your inner beings. Remember the coming of the Lord, the one who is the supreme Lord and Master of everything in every realm, is so extremely close that it could occur at any moment. Are we losing our patience at the wrong time?
Yeah.
Oh boy. You want to read?
Yeah. My dearest brothers, it's time to put away all the negative groaning, moaning, sighing, and feelings that you reciprocally hold against each other.
Oh boy. It's time to be pretty. Act pretty.
Act pretty. Such behavior has consequences,
Oh.
and I'm telling you this so that a verdict of judgment will not be handed down against you.
Now this is talking to the church. This is talking to believers. This is not talking to the lost world. This is what we need to understand. So, a verdict of guilty. I mean,
Yeah.
a verdict of guilty, that tells you that as you can be in right standing, you can step out into somewhere you don't want to be real fast. Okay.
See, wow.
Yep. I like the wows.
Wow.
Wow, James.
This situation has become so serious that now the judge is standing directly before the doors.
Oh. Whew.
Dear brothers, if you're looking for an example to follow and replicate, how about taking the adverse, difficult, and troublesome sufferings along with mental toughness, perseverance, and long-suffering patience of the prophets, who freely spoke in the name of the Lord,
Yeah.
the one with ultimate authority in every seen and unseen realm.
My goodness. You want an example? There you go.
How amazing to see and consider those past examples of people who refused to surrender, who were so supremely blessed, happy, and even to be envied. I'm talking about people who stayed in their spot regardless of the pressure they experienced, who resolved to maintain the territory they had gained, who defiantly stuck it out regardless of the pressures that were mounted against them, who had staying power, hang in there power, and who possessed an attitude that held on, outlasted, preserved, and hung in there. Persevered.
Yeah.
And hung in there.
Brother Kenneth Hagin called that stickability.
Yeah.
Stickability.
He said people has lost.
Yeah.
Not many have stickability.
Never give up, refusing to surrender to obstacles, and turning down every opportunity to quit.
Wow. That.
You
Not
know-
not the wishy-washy
Yeah.
one. Not the one that's having to
Brother Max called it
dedicate their life
washy-washy.
every
Yeah.
Tuesday. Huh?
Brother Max called it washy-washy.
Yeah, washy-washy. Don't be,
Yeah.
well, that's all you're
Don't be
doing is
washy-washy.
washy-washy and
Washy-washy.
over and over.
Yep.
It was
Don't be
Wishy-washy.
washy-washy.
Don't be washy-washy. Don't be
Washy-washy.
wishy-washy.
Nope.
Yeah. Well, there's always, look here, you can always quit. It's easy.
what is it? It's easy to quit and criticize,
That's
right?
the two easiest things
Yeah,
to do.
If you're struggling, just remember you can always quit.
Yeah.
A lot of people quit.
Yep. Quitters don't win though.
Nope. And winners don't quit.
And winners don't
Winners
quit.
don't quit.
That's it.
People that persevere, endure, this stick to it. They don't quit.
Yeah.
I know in the military that's something that they put out there quite often. Look, when you're struggling, well, you go to people about it and they go, well, quit.
Yeah.
Kind of, real hard at you. Quit. No, I ain't gonna quit.
You don't get a poor
Okay, well
baby.
then come on, pick it up, do it.
No poor babies, huh?
You don't get a poor baby.
Mhm.
You get, come on, let's do it.
Either you gonna do it or you ain't.
Yep.
Mm.
I'm talking about those who, even though they were under a heavy load, refused to bend, break, or surrender because they were absolutely convinced the territory, promise, or principle that was under assault belonged to them. And I'm sure you've heard of the endurance of Job. He's an example of those who stayed in his spot regardless of the pressure he experienced.
Oh yeah.
Job resolved to maintain the territory he gained, defiantly sticking it out regardless of the pressures that were mounted against him. He was one who demonstrated staying power, hang in there power, and who possessed an attitude that held on, outlasted, persevered, and hung in there, never giving up, refusing to surrender to obstacles, and turning down every opportunity to quit. Even though he was under a very heavy load, he refused to bend, break, or surrender because he was absolutely convinced the territory, promise, or principle that was under assault belonged to him.
That's right.
By taking a scrutinizing look at the climax of his story and his end result that came from the Lord, we can clearly see that the Lord is full of compassion.
Yes.
He doesn't just sit idly by watching people suffer,
No.
but he is completely full of compassion that moves him to action. And he is exceedingly sensitive and sympathetic toward those who are in hard situations.
That's right. But my dearest and most cherished brothers, it is of paramount importance that first, foremost, and above all else, you do not engage in swearing an oath of any kind, neither by heaven nor by the earth and all that is related to it, nor by any other kind of oath. Instead of making all these kinds of oaths, you need to make it your aim to simply let your yes be yes and your no be no, so that you will not tragically fall underneath the weight of judgment that has the ability to produce a serious crisis in your life. You know, and we see this all the time in ministry, and it always seems to be the ones who want to appear a certain way, whether they're called in it or not. They'll, I swear, I swear I'm telling the truth. And 5 minutes later they tell you, well, I was lying, but I'm an honest person. Nope, no you're not. See, you bring judgment, you bring worse things into your life by doing this. You know, hey, it's not a good thing to make a lot of promises. Because one, we've done established, you don't know what tomorrow's going to hold.
Yeah.
You don't know what's going to be doing. You know, hey, look, I'll plan on it. I'll do my best. Yes is yes. I shouldn't have to promise you to believe that my yes means yes or my no means no.
Mhm.
You know? If we have to put an oath with it, then, well, that means there's probably less truth involved in the conversations.
Mm.
But that's another reason. It's just what I'm seeing. I could be
And,
wrong.
You know, the Lord is telling us to for our yes to be yes,
Yes.
and our no to be no. And you know, Jimmy had to learn that early on in Haiti.
Yeah.
Maybe there is no
There
maybe.
is no maybe. If you say maybe
That's yes.
to them, that's yes, and they hold you to that. If you don't do
They say you
the
lie.
maybe,
Then you lie.
then you're a liar, and they don't trust you after that. So you know, Jimmy would have to tell his
Nope.
team, don't you tell them you will bring them anything, and it don't matter if you know that you have it back in the States.
Nope. Don't
To
commit.
send it,
Don't.
don't you tell them, you just simply bring it on the next trip.
That's it.
But don't you dare tell them,
Mm-mm.
Yep.
That's it.
because you just tell them no.
Yeah.
And then you bring it if you can.
There you go.
Because, you know, being a liar is a way worse thing.
Yes. Yes, it is.
And we don't understand that here. We don't, because we talk in circles. You know, we'll
We've
call
been-
around
we've
because
been
we
so
don't want to
saturated.
offend, or
Yeah.
we don't want to.
Yeah.
So we try to pacify
Yeah.
what others want us to say,
Yeah.
Right.
when we should just do what the word tells
Yep.
us to do and just say
Nope.
yes
Or no.
Nope.
or no.
That's it.
Leave it at that.
Is there anyone in your midst who is going through an extremely difficult time that is producing a lot of heartache and grief? I urge that person to personally draw near to God, to pour his heart out to Him, and to be willing to give up anything and to do anything God requires for his situation to be changed.
Now that tells you right there. That says a lot right there in that
Okay.
little passage.
Is there anyone among you so excited about something that he feels as if he is about to burst with joy? If that person is so overjoyed that he can no longer restrain the joy he feels, let him go ahead and cut loose to sing the song exploding in his heart. You go for it.
Run around the church.
Spin
Jump
like a
the
top.
pews.
Go for it. We
Jump
don't
pews.
mind
Jump the
us.
pews.
Carry on.
Off the back of the pews.
That's right.
Do what you gotta do. Is anyone among you weak, sick, or incapacitated due to illness? Let that person personally. Well, that's an interesting way to put that in.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let Frida May do it for you. No, you call. Okay. Let that person personally call for the ordained leaders of the local assembly to come and passionately petition God on his behalf. Let the leaders hover over him in prayer, anointing the sick person with oil and operating in the stead of Jesus. Ooh. That is, acting on his behalf and using the authority and reputation of the name of the Lord, the one who has the authority in every seen and unseen realm, and that certainly includes authority and mastery over sickness and disease. And the heartfelt prayer of rock-solid, steadfast, unwavering faith will deliver, heal, liberate, and physically save the person weakened from sickness. And as a result, the Lord, the one with supreme authority in every realm, seen and unseen, will raise him up, and if, as the case may be, he has carried out behaviors that have missed the mark of what is right and wrong and are sinful in nature, he will be forgiven and freed from them.
Now, isn't that great?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's wonderful. Okay. Let's see. Confess. Let's see, where we at?
16.
16? I'm right? Okay.
Yeah.
Confess reciprocally to each other areas where you have sinned and missed the mark. And come to the altar of God together to earnestly pray on behalf of and for the betterment of one another. Ain't that good?
That is.
So that you may be.
So that you may be healed. Yeah.
Now somebody, who was it the other day was asking me about altar.
About the altar?
Yeah.
Huh.
The altar of God.
Yeah.
Now, see, it may not be like that in this, but
Yeah.
Rick Renner is the
Yeah.
Greek scholar.
Yes.
So he's putting it down
Yeah.
so you will understand it. I know that, like Jesse Duplantis, they have an altar in their home.
Yeah. Well,
Him and Kathy.
Yeah.
And you know that he's made.
Yeah.
And I've heard him tell about, especially towards the new year,
they
fast and they go in there and they pray
Yeah.
for what God wants them to do in the
Yeah.
new year, to hear from Him.
Yeah.
But I just think that's something,
Yeah.
to go to the altar
Yeah.
and pray for the betterment of our brothers and sisters, even ourselves.
Exactly.
Even ourselves.
Yeah.
Well, look how selfless this is, though.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
this is two people going together.
Right.
And they understand that there's going to be no malicious intent.
Yeah.
That, hey, I
Holding it
man,
over the
I
other.
did this, and I know that you're not going to
Yeah.
be beating me upside the head like a bat with it.
Yeah.
However, you might be looking out saying, let me pull you back. You about to run. No, you don't need to do that.
Don't go
But
stick
it's
your
to
head in
help.
the fence.
Yeah, don't.
But we have been so permeated
Yeah.
with this offense thing and with the backbiting and the snarling and the
And look how, when you go through the history of the church and you go through what has happened within this world, and I know some talk about the great falling away as we haven't fallen so far as we did through the dark ages. I mean, that was horrible. But the church itself has regressed, like, so far back. And you're beginning to see it, and it's, well, sadly, in most people's eyes, it's them crazy wild ones, them people that are saying, no, wait a minute, we've got to get back in line with what the New Testament tells us how the church is supposed to function and operate. I mean, can you imagine operating exactly like, yes, we're moving in that direction, but can you imagine any of the church history you've ever had operating exactly like that?
well, but all through the
Most
ages.
of us would say, you can't tell me what to do.
I was fixing to say, all through the ages, though.
Yeah. The
Who
remnant
got the results? The extremists.
The extremists.
The radicals.
the remnant that
the
was doing.
remnant. The ones, look here,
Yeah.
that did not give a rip about
Some of them judges
what
were
the
people.
world thought
Yeah.
or said. Their eyes were
On the Lord.
on the Lord,
Yeah.
and their ears
Exactly.
were on His frequency.
Exactly.
And look here, they weren't going to let anything from the outside deter them
That's right.
from doing their assignment.
That's it.
Yeah.
And whatever that may look like today, I remember we just heard a podcast the other day by Troy Brewer.
Yep.
And he said that he told somebody, this ain't your grandma's church anymore.
There you go.
We're in a different era. We're in a
different
season.
dispensation. Yeah. We got to be different.
And y'all, it's rapidly
Yeah.
going back to the time of the Jews.
Yep. Yes, it is. Absolutely.
Jimmy was preaching that.
Yeah.
We need to get it, and we need
Yes.
to finish
Wait.
this race, winning souls, standing for truth,
Yes.
being completely surrendered.
Absolutely.
because that's what it's going to take to get the job done.
Absolutely.
There's a job to be done, and if we can't be used, he will raise up somebody that
Oh, yeah.
will be used.
Absolutely. Absolutely. One monkey don't stop the show. One monkey don't stop the show. We only have a few more verses I wanted to finish up, so we're going a little over, but no. No, I mean, we ate, we had breakfast, it's for Saturday. Krispy Kremes.
Oh, boy.
The Lord is good. But, this is also the official last minute, next Saturday, Lord willing, and the creek don't rise, we'll be starting, 1 Peter in the RIV, so you got a week, okay? Get you a copy. Alright, let's finish up verse 16, I've stopped halfway. Oh, how vast, mighty, effective, energizing, and powerful is the concrete and clearly stated petition of a righteous person. That's somebody who knows God's heart on matters.
Oh, yeah.
That can do that one right there. You know, because if we ask anything according to his will, then the answer is yes. And we know healing is part of his will. We've got to be on the ball with that one.
Absolutely.
We ain't got to back up on that. It's God's will to heal, period.
You know,
End story.
I'm so excited about Rick Renner's book.
Yes.
The big one on the healing.
Yep.
I'm so excited. Cause you know,
Yes.
Corey Blake
Yes.
in the forward, in
Yes.
the whatever, he said that if he had to buy it himself, every member of his team would have that book.
That's good.
That's right. We will be continuing book club also next week because we still got to find where to put all the books from the fire.
I don't even know where my book
And we
is.
just gonna pick up where we left off, and it's gonna be okay. And if we read some's read ahead, that's great. If some hadn't, well, you know, life happens. We've had them packed up. It's okay.
But I didn't have to leave.
I don't do so good with the Kindle. I mean, with the
All right, rein it in.
Okay, all right, guys. We got 4 more verses. I believe we can. Hey, it's Elijah. 17. Elijah was a person who experienced a lot of ups and downs and emotional upheaval, and was similar in many ways to you or to us. Yet, even with all of those defects, he boldly prayed, surrendered himself at the altar of God, and was willing to do anything God required.
So I was reading about this morning.
Yep. And he asked that it would not rain. And it really didn't rain on the earth, not even a drop of moisture for 3 years and 6 months. And once again, Elijah returned to God in prayer, surrendering himself at the altar of God, again showing that he was willing to do anything God required for him to receive what he was asking God to do. And heaven released downpours and showers of rain.
So being surrendered and obedient.
Whatever you ask me to do. Now, he had to get spicy. He had to get spicy, y'all. And the earth began to sprout, bud, put forth leaves, and produce luscious fruit. Dearest brothers, if, as the case probably is, any at all among you gets off track in any way, or begins to wander away from and puts distance between himself and the truth, and someone helps him abandon the wrong way he is going and return to the right path, let that person who helped the wanderer get back on track assuredly know that whoever is instrumental in turning around a person who missed the mark of what God approves and wanted for his life, but now has assisted him in getting back on track and has helped him exit the wandering road he had chosen to travel as a path for his life, his rescue and efforts will deliver that one from all that he had become and from his dire predicament. It will conceal a multitude of behaviors that miss the mark of what is right and that are sinful in nature.
Oh, listen, I've got to throw this in.
Dude,
Jack Hayford said, truth and error are mutually exclusive, and a person either walks in God's truth or his own way.
oh, let's help somebody get straightened up. Let's love each other, guys. Hey, We love you. God loves you. There ain't a thing you can do about it.